Jackie from Chronically Jackie, and this is my service dog Harlow. I know this is a long video, but please bear with us and watch the first few minutes because I'm going to give out some important information. I understand the chronic illness journey can be trying. Those much sought after answers do not always come easily, and we often have to fight very hard in order to know what's going wrong with our bodies. Over the years, I've learned a great deal about how to advocate for myself and how to get answers when you're chronically ill. This video details all the advice I have surrounding that subject. Please know that my guidance on this topic comes from personal experiences, so they may not fit your specific circumstances. Also, you don't have to listen to me whatsoever. I'm just here to offer friendly suggestions, and you can decide what to do with the information. In the description are a ton of helpful links and a table of contents. If you're looking for advice on a specific topic, the table of contents will take you straight to it. You don't have to watch the entire thing. I'm not going to be going over my diagnosis process or the specifics about my chronic illnesses in this video, but if you want to learn more about that, you can watch my chronic illness video and there's a link to it in the description. The following is what has worked well for me, and I really hope you find this video helpful. Just know that you're not alone in your fight for answers. Whatever your battles may be, fellow warrior, stay strong and keep moving forward. Now, let's get started. Be your own biggest advocate. This is so important to me. You know your body best because you're the one living inside of it, so you need to advocate for yourself in every way imaginable. If you feel like there's a certain diagnosis to explore, bring it up with your doctor. If you feel like you need a certain diagnostic testing done or a referral to a specific specialist, talk to your doctor about it. If you feel like you're not getting the care you need, voice your concerns. Because if you don't bring up your concerns, or if you don't bring up your ideas for a new diagnosis or testing, and whatever it may be, chances are they're not going to be addressed. Also, don't hide your symptoms. I know it may feel strange going to the doctor and giving them this long list of symptoms. They may feel irrelevant to you, but that's not really up to you to decide. What I do when I go to the doctor is I tell them every single symptom I'm experiencing, and I let my doctor decide what is relevant. But of course, at the same time, I don't let them disregard symptoms that are worrying to me. If your doctor won't listen to you and won't take into consideration the symptoms that are worrying to you, or won't listen to new ideas you have about your care, or won't listen to your concerns, then get a new doctor. Part of advocating for yourself is making sure you have a good care team, and I'll talk more about this in the next section. Don't second guess yourself. Like I said, you know your body best because you're living inside of it, so if you feel there's something wrong, there's probably something wrong. Don't let others put you down and call you crazy. Don't let them call you a hypochondriac. Don't let them get to you, because nobody's going to truly understand what you're going through because they're not living in your body. Some people may try and put you down for going to the doctor too often, and I think that's ridiculous. I go to the doctors a lot because how else am I going to get the answers I need about my health? How else am I going to get treatment plans? And how else am I going to get a handle on my health in order to improve my quality of life? Don't second guess yourself. You're doing what's best for your health, and don't let others put you down. No one is going to fight for you like you will. It's really important to stand up for yourself when you feel like things are not going the way they should. And every single person has the ability to be their own biggest advocate. You just have to find the ability within yourself. Build a good medical team. Through my chronic illness journey, I quickly learned that not all doctors are created equally, and you don't have to see a doctor you don't like. In a sense, your physicians are working for you. By being their patient, they're getting paid, and so they are providing a service to you. Just like you wouldn't put up with bad service from a restaurant, you shouldn't put up with bad service from a physician either. Be picky. My current medical team consists of 7 physicians. Some are within the same practicing group, and some are all over the state of Florida. I only bring a new doctor into my medical team if they prove themselves worthy. That means they must be willing to communicate with my current team, they make an impact with me and a connection, they make it obvious that they want to improve my quality of life, and they're just an overall good person. Sometimes I can tell in the first appointment that they're going to be a good addition to my team, and sometimes I need a few appointments before deciding to bring them on. I have had my fair share of extremely rude and incompetent doctors. I've even been told that I look too healthy and I'm too young to be this sick, despite concrete medical testing proving otherwise. Obviously, chronic illness doesn't discriminate against age or looks. If a doctor has dismissed your medical case based on ridiculous things such as gender, your looks, your age, and so on, I am terribly sorry. But like I said, not all doctors are created equally. When situations like this occur, I personally leave. Why put up with it? If a physician is that ignorant, I leave and never return to their practice. The same goes if you have been seeing a doctor for a really long time, but they are no longer able to help your medical case. The time to get a second opinion is when your current doctor is no longer able to help you. I've gotten several second opinions and fourth opinions and 19th opinions, and I'm glad I did so because without all of those extra opinions, I wouldn't be where I am now with the answers to my chronic illnesses, better treatment plans, and an improved quality of life. Give your current doctor a chance to help you, but if they're really out of ideas and they can no longer assist you medically, it's time to branch out and get some more opinions. Don't be afraid to tell a doctor that they can no longer help you. As a very complex medical case, I've had to tell several physicians that I've breached their level of expertise. Some were offended and some were understanding. If you need a referral from a doctor in order to see another specialist for a second opinion, ask them for that referral. Don't be afraid to tell them that you're no longer getting assistance from them. They may be offended, but what is one doctor's pride compared to your health and well-being? You need to make sure you're doing what's best for your body. I'm also asked several times, how do you make a doctor listen to you? That doesn't work. It doesn't matter what you say or what you do, you cannot make a doctor listen to you. So if your current physician isn't meeting your needs, you need to find a new one, because no matter what you say or what you do, you're not going to change the doctor's outlook or perception or personality. The trick behind making a doctor listen to you is finding a good doctor to begin with. Because if you find a good doctor, they're already going to be set up to be understanding and compassionate, and they'll listen to your concerns. A doctor is there to help you. You shouldn't have to make them listen to you. They should be willing to do that on their own accord. So in order to make a doctor listen to you, you have to find a good doctor to begin with. I know that's easier said than done, but I have a few tips on how to find a good doctor. Go online and join support groups for your specific medical condition, preferably ones for your local area or state. Facebook has some good ones. Ask fellow warriors who they are seeing, who they've had success with, and so on. But keep in mind, just because somebody had a bad experience with one doctor does not automatically mean that doctor won't work for you. For example, one of my physicians at Mayo Clinic has been tremendously helpful to me, but my best friend had a terrible experience with him. So everybody's experience will vary. Also, call different practices and ask about their experience in treating your specific medical condition. If you're looking for a certain treatment or therapy, ask about that too. I find that good offices and practices are willing to talk a little bit further in detail with you. But a lot of this is trial and error. It took me years to find my current medical team, and it was a heartbreaking journey and draining to find good doctors. I don't really have a magical equation on how to find a good doctor, because honestly for me it was a lot of trial and error, and I did get some help from support groups. But finding a good doctor is a very long and trying journey, I will admit that, but just stick with it, because when you finally find a good doctor, everything was totally worth it. You should be able to have an open conversation with your doctor. A lot of the time people ask me, how do I bring up this topic with my physician? Well, you just do it. Being a doctor is more than just having medical knowledge. It's about making your patients feel comfortable in your presence. With all the doctors on my care team, I feel totally confident in bringing up new treatment plans, possible diagnoses, testing, and any new ideas, and then we have a two-way conversation about the best way to approach these things. So it all goes back to finding a good physician, because if you find a good physician, you'll feel comfortable with them and you'll be able to have open conversations and two-way dialogues. In my opinion, it should not be a doctor directing all the care. It should be a doctor and patient working together, because the doctor has the medical knowledge, but the patient lives within their malfunctioning body. So working together will produce the best results. Keep your records on you. This is my medical binder. It has my most important medical records inside of it. I take it with me to every doctor's appointment, hospital admission, ER trip, and so on because it has everything inside of it that any medical professional could possibly want or need about my health. This binder is a portfolio, and this one belonged to my father and he gave it to me. But there are several good options for portfolios out there, and I've linked a few good choices in the description. On the inside, there are 2 places to hold paper. The first one is my angioedema attack protocol, and the second one is my up-to-date medication and medical condition list. My protocol paper is just something my doctor wrote up, and it's a guideline for ER doctors on how to treat my angioedema attacks if I have to go to the emergency room. ER docs love having this guideline, and there's also a quick outline of my more complicated medical conditions that doctors may not know about right away. That is a great thing to have if you're going to the emergency room and you may not be in a state to explain your more complicated disorders. Or for new patient appointments, it's a great way to bring doctors up to date on your situation on medical conditions they may not know about right away. So I highly recommend having a quick outline from your doctor about your more complicated disorders. The medical condition and medication list is just an up-to-date account on all my current diagnoses, the year I was diagnosed, and all the medicines I'm currently taking. I've actually made a template for y'all to download and insert your own information as needed if you'd like. There's a link to the Google document in the description. All you have to do is click on the link, then click File, then click Make a Copy. You should be able to save it and edit it to fit your needs. There's a place to hold pens. I like to bring my own pens to appointments so I can take notes, and there's a business card holder section here. I find this to be very handy because let's say my GI doctor needs my neurologist's information. I just take out my neurologist's business card, give it to my GI doctor, and they have all the contact information they could possibly need. Inside this manila folder are all my important records. Testing results that prove that I do, in fact, have the medical conditions that I am diagnosed with. Blood work, imaging, autonomic testing results, all of my most important records are in this manila folder. Of course, I don't have all of my records in here because that would be way too much to carry around with me, but I just choose the most important ones. I also prefer to have hard copies because I find that physicians prefer that too, seeing as everything is right at their fingertips. To get these medical records of mine, all I do is simply ask for them. A doctor must provide your medical records to you if you request them. Sometimes they're printed for me in the office, and sometimes my records are emailed to me. I'm also finding that more and more practices are obtaining online patient portals, so if that's an option, I'll just go to my account, download my information, and print it. Sometimes I'll be charged a small fee if the office has to print my records for me. So if at all possible, I'd rather have practices email me my records or I'll download it from my patient portal. I also have electronic copies of all my records on my computer by scanning it in to my computer. Because if I ever lose my medical binder or if my records become damaged in any way, all I have to do to get new copies is go onto my computer and print them. I use the pink folder to organize myself for appointments, and this is just something I bought in an office supply store. Any new patient paperwork goes in here, so I have easy access to it. I also take out all relevant records from the manila folder and put it in the pink folder, so anything the doctor might need is out and waiting. Having a medical binder has helped me tremendously with each and every one of my medical appointments, especially new patient appointments. I don't have to wait for records to transfer from one doctor to the next, and all of my physicians have direct access to my most important medical files. I highly recommend having your own medical binder. Conduct research, but keep an open mind. Independent research can be a good thing. For some people, the only way they reach a diagnosis is by doing online research, finding a likely explanation for their symptoms, and then bringing it up for discussion with their doctor. It's okay to make suggestions and bring up new ideas with your physician. As I mentioned in the second section, y'all should be working as a team. However, something you don't want to do is self-diagnose. I am very much so against this. Sometimes people do so much research, they become dead set and believe they have an illness and decide they have an illness before they even go through with diagnostic testing. Or they become so narrow-minded in believing they have an illness, they don't even pursue other diagnostic possibilities. This does nothing but harm them because they could be shutting themselves off to their real diagnosis. When looking for answers, you want to keep an open mind because chronic illnesses can mimic each other in presentation, and chances are there are several possibilities that could explain your symptoms. Work with your doctor to pursue all possible options. Do not shut down and zone in on one specific illness. What were to happen if you test for said illness and you end up not having it? You may feel devastated because it's yet another dead end that you were so certain about, and that could be heartbreaking. Answers are so eluding on this chronic illness journey, and one way to stay ahead of the disappointment is to keep an open mind. So yes, individual research can be beneficial. It can get you closer to answers, better treatment plans, and it can help you bring more information to your doctor. But it can also be detrimental. Find a good balance, and I personally think that your number one source of information should be your physician because they know you way better than the internet. However, once you have a diagnosis, I urge you to learn as much as possible. I made sure my doctors explained every minute detail to me, and I also did a lot of online research to learn as much as I could about my diagnoses. I know the anatomy behind them, the whys, the hows. Knowledge is power, and the more you know about your chronic illnesses, the more you can advocate for yourself. Feel your emotions, don't hide them. The search for answers can be described by so many words: trying, heartbreaking, hopeful, enlightening. The list is endless, and so is the journey. At times it may feel like you'll never reach those much sought after answers, but you can't give up. The only way you'll get those answers, you'll get those treatment plans and that improved quality of life, is if you keep trying. Everybody deserves to know what's going on with their body, including you, but you'll have to stay determined. At times, it may seem scary. Waking up every day to a malfunctioning body with little to no explanation can be terrifying. And at the same time, getting a new diagnosis can be scary too, especially one with no cure. It's okay to feel scared. I get scared sometimes, but I don't let my fear control me. My perspective is this: I'd rather have an answer that scares me, because with an answer comes a treatment plan, and with those comes an improvement in the quality of my life. At times, you will get frustrated. Another inconclusive test, another doctor who couldn't help you, another dead end. During these times, I suggest finding the one thing that will always cheer you up. For me personally, it's family time, Disney movies, and a little bit of cake and ice cream. I also suggest finding something that ignites you. I look to my side and see Harlow and Judd cheering me on. When I'm ready to give up due to sheer frustration, their love gives me the extra push I need to keep going. Thankfully, I'm a stubborn person, so giving up is not on my radar very often. Disappointment is another part of the chronic illness journey. There are a lot of ups and downs. Something I like to practice to help combat disappointment is cautious optimism. When waiting on testing results or anticipating how a new patient appointment will go and whatever else it may be, I remain optimistic, but cautiously so. Rely on your support systems. Friends, family, pets, don't shut them out. Bring loved ones to doctor's appointments and scary procedures. You don't have to go through this alone. If you don't have anyone physically in your life, build a community of online support through support groups. Facebook has some good ones. I think you'll find that just a little bit of support can go a really long way in helping you with your chronic illness journey. Sometimes I find that my supporters don't really know how to help me, so being direct is the best approach. I tell my loved ones exactly what they can do to help, whether it's just keeping me company on a hard day or driving me to a doctor's appointment. Remove negative people from your life. I know that is easier said than done. You may be thinking, but she's my mom, but he's my dad, but she's my sister. Let me tell you, I have had to remove very close family members for extended periods of time, and it was not easy. It was one of the hardest things I've had to do, but it had to be done so I could focus on my health, and that particular person was not helping. It's difficult, but it will help you in the long term. Your chronic illness journey is already stressful enough. Your body already puts you through enough stress. So if anybody is making hurtful comments, if anyone is doubting you, if anybody is putting you through any amount of undue stress, remove them from your life. Your body already gives you enough to worry about. Why let anyone add to it? Also, celebrate the successes. It's really important to recognize the little victories and make sure you celebrate when you can. Also, make sure you're making time for yourself. You need time to unwind, relax, and do something you love, because that's how you're going to keep your sanity on this crazy chronic illness journey. This journey is trying, so surrounding yourself with positive influences is one of the best things you can do. Join support groups, either in person or online. Find people who empower you and stay strong within yourself. But know it's okay to feel sad, frustrated, and scared at times. Really allow yourself moments to feel those emotions, because in the end, your strength will win out. You're already a strong person because you wake up each and every day to face your chronic illnesses, either diagnosed or undiagnosed. You can do this. You will win this fight. Answers will come. Whatever your battles may be, fellow warrior, stay strong and keep moving forward. Well, that's it. All my advice on how to get answers when you're chronically ill. Please know you're not alone in your search for answers, in your fight against your chronic illnesses, and in whatever battles you may be facing. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful.